Boy, was there a lot going on for the Red Sox this weekend. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and honestly, this was probably one of the better series of the year for the Boston Red Sox. It's just unfortunate that it ended up after 6 weeks of them stinking the joint up, because this would have been a really important series about 3 weeks ago. But either way, they won their series against the Twins. The more important part of this, though, is that there was a lot of Red Sox news that took place over this weekend, including two of the Red Sox biggest stars finishing their 2024 season due to injuries, a couple of call-ups, and some history being made by some of the rookies on this team. We're going to talk about all of it in today's video. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into the news about the big stars, let's talk about some of the history that was made this weekend by a Red Sox rookie, because during this series, Richard Fitts made his third start in a Red Sox uniform. It was 5 scoreless innings, 5 hits, a walk, and 3 Ks. This officially makes Richard Fitts the second pitcher ever in the history of Major League Baseball to go at least 5 innings in every single one of his first 3 starts without allowing a single earned run. Really impressive stuff here from Richard Fitts. There really hasn't been much swing and miss since getting up here, but he's been a weak contact machine, and so far it's working out really well. Through 3 games, he does not have a single barreled ball against him, and his hard hit rate is at 35.3%, which is well below league average in a really good way. He's honestly been a real reason to watch this team lately, right? Him and other guys coming up here, starting or trying to make their marks at the big league level. Some of the more exciting things about a non-contending team in the back half of the season, and Richard Fitts is smack dab in the middle of it. But honestly, all the rookies are looking really good right now, especially the ones that they recently called up. Luis Guerrero had another scoreless outing in this series. That is now 5 1/3 innings, or 5 appearances, where he has not allowed a single earned run yet. He also has a strikeout rate of 11.8 compared to just a 1.7 per 9 walk rate, meaning he's striking out a whole lot of guys and he's not walking a whole lot of guys. He looks fantastic out of that bullpen. So does Zach Penrod. He didn't get an appearance in this series, but he has had 4 scoreless outings so far in his Red Sox tenure, and that's not even to mention the fact that Nick Sogard had 2 really big hits in this series. In the one game he got actual plate appearances in, he went 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. He doesn't have the greatest overall statistics in the world when it comes to total production, but he's putting the ball in play a ton, and he's playing really solid defense all over the place. I'm curious if you guys want a video on what Nick Sogard could look like for the 2025 Red Sox. Let me know in the comment section down below. We'll get one of those videos done. But the big thing here is that, yeah, this has been exciting for us as fans to see these guys come up here and make an impact at the big league level, right? These are the type of things that you look for as fans once your team is really pretty much out of contention. The Red Sox did win this series against the Twins, but their playoff odds went from 0.1% to 0.3%, so they basically would have to win every single game from here on out, as well as the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners kind of falling on their face. A lot has to happen for them to continue to make a run, but it was good baseball, and it was really held on the shoulders by some of these young kids, and it was a ton of fun to watch. But we got a whole lot of other news to talk about, so before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for taking a second and doing so. Let's get into some other news. Honestly, the play from these young kids, the play from these rookies is really needed right now, because a couple of the Red Sox biggest stars are officially done for the season, starting with Rafael Devers, who after the first game against the Twins was officially shut down for the rest of the season with obviously that shoulder issue he's been dealing with really most of the season. The good news here is that this injury is not going to require surgery. Got an MRI on that shoulder. It revealed shoulder inflammation, but basically it's just rest and rehabilitation for our young son Rafael Devers, which is absolutely fantastic. I think the biggest fear going into it was getting so bad that surgery was on the table. He confirmed that it wasn't on the table after he was shut down for the rest of the season, and I think that's the biggest news here, and it's something Rafael Devers has really been dealing with all year. It really started to flare up towards the middle of August, because since August 18th, he's hitting just 172 with a 266 on base percentage and a 212 slug. You could tell it just simply wasn't right? His bat speed was down, his launch angles were down, his approach at the plate was off. It just wasn't the Rafael Devers that we know and love, and it was really starting to affect, I think, the team as a whole to have Rafi in there and just simply trying his best to just get himself to swing a bat. It just really wasn't worth it for the Red Sox to continue risking injury. What's really interesting about Rafael Devers going down right now is the fact that he had really been dealing with this all year. He told reporters basically since day one he didn't feel right? I think if we go all the way back to the beginning of the year, that Seattle Mariners series in Seattle, he talked about it. He talked about the fact that he injured his shoulder coming into this season and it never really healed. It got worse in that Colorado Rockies series, but it's really impressive that even with a couple of bum shoulders, Rafael Devers, for the most part, up until August, put up the best numbers of his career. That's how good of a player Rafael Devers is, and I don't think people appreciate still to this point just how good Rafi is, even if he can't battle through an injury the entire season. So Rafael Devers' season is over. I think for the most part, as fans, it's been entirely positive. Even with the terrible August and most of September, he continued to be one of the top 12 OPSs in the entire sport. That is incredibly impressive. Just goes to show you how good him, even 75% healthy this year, really was. In order to fill his roster spot, the Red Sox did call up Mickey Gasper. Nothing too crazy there. I'm happy Mickey's back up here. I think he's a good guy, and I do think there is some sort of an idea as to what you could do with him next year for this Red Sox team, but it's definitely nothing super crazy. The other big name that was officially shut down for this season was Kenley Jansen. Yesterday, after the game, after the doubleheader, Kenley was officially shut down with that nagging shoulder thing that he has been dealing with for a little bit. It's technically the 10-day IL. It's really just, hey, you're done for the season. And this is a really interesting one to me because it's kind of an unceremonious goodbye to Kenley Jansen, basically, right? Because there's probably a pretty low chance the Red Sox are bringing him back next year. And I gotta say, for everything that we've gone through with Kenley, all the comments, all the people who don't like him, he has been a really, really solid closer for this Red Sox team. He had 56 saves in 2 years. It's about an 87% save rate. That is much, much better than league average, and it's a really, really solid closing number. He had a 3.44 ERA, a 3.30 FIP, and a 1.29 ERA plus, about 29% above league average production. I'm sure he would have loved to have done a little bit more here in Boston, but again, it was really solid production from Kenley, who was in the back half of his career. He was fun to watch. The Kenley boys always up, never down stuff really caught on this year from Section 10. It was fun to watch Kenley Jansen at points, and honestly, I am going to miss him a bit on the 2025 Red Sox. What I'm really nervous about is the fact that this probably means 2025, the closer spot, is going to be a bit of an open-ended question, right? You would hope Liam Hendricks is the one that comes in and fixes that. Liam did get shut down basically officially, unofficially earlier this week, so he's going to be a bit of a question mark coming into 25. You got Slayton, who Andrew Bailey said could be a closer next year. Luis Guerrero has been fantastic, but again, it's just going to end up being, I think, a bit of an open-ended question going into 25, and that makes me pretty nervous. Now, they did call up Chase Sugar to fill Kenley Jansen's spot on the roster. In my opinion, I would keep an eye on Quinn Priester as someone who could also come up in that spot at some point over these next 6 games. Quinn has been absolutely slaughtering AAA over the last month. In his last 4 starts, he has a 2.45 ERA and a 2.48 FIP. I don't see any reason why the Red Sox shouldn't give him one game at the big league level, maybe the last couple of games of the year, just to get his feet wet a little bit with this Red Sox team and at Fenway Park possibly. He is perfectly lined up to make the second to last start of the season, and again, I don't see any reason why not to, so that's certainly someone to keep your eye on. The last name I wanted to mention here is Tyler O'Neill, because in game 1 of this doubleheader, Alex Cora said he was currently experiencing some back tightness, and they were going to try and get him into the second game. Well, he wasn't in the second game of this lineup either. I'm curious how close they are to just saying, look, Tyler, stop battling through everything. You're going into a free agent year. You want to be healthy. We're going to shut you down. And if that does happen, look, I don't want to sit here and make any bold claims or anything, but I would keep an eye on Roman Anthony. I would keep an eye on Roman Anthony to get a couple of maybe cups of coffee here in Major League Baseball before the season's up, especially if Tyler O'Neill is on that IL. But at this point, Roman Anthony's season's done in AAA. He has proven, I think, everything he needs to prove that he is ready for Major League Baseball. He's not really doing anything right now. He's not getting everyday at-bats in AAA, so why not give him a little bit of a shot at the Major League level? Again, I'm not saying I think this is absolutely going to happen. I'm not even saying there's a good chance that this happens. I'm just saying keep an eye out for it. I think this might not be a bad idea for this Red Sox team because, again, it's not like they're playing for all that much towards the end of the season outside of playing just to prove to John Henry that they're worth investing in this winter, which is a really hard task to do. So either way, no official word yet on Tyler O'Neill, just certainly something to keep an eye on. And the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is something that I just need to fit in here somewhere because there's been way too much Tristan Casas slander in our comment section lately. Casas had a 3-home run, 7 RBI game in the middle game of this series. That is the first time a first baseman has done that for this Red Sox team since 1968. It's been well over 40 years since anyone in the first base position did what Tristan Casas did today or this weekend. I genuinely think people have just flat out forgotten how good Tristan can be when he's healthy and in his groove, right? He came back from an injury that kept him out for months. It's going to take a little bit for that adjustment to come back altogether, no matter how many mental swings he takes physically. It's going to take some time, and I think that's what we saw and why he was struggling since coming off the IL. But you get a fully healthy season from Tristan Casas next year, you are absolutely, and I guarantee this, talking about a top 5 first baseman in Major League Baseball offensively. He's just simply that good. Trading him would be so dumb, especially with the lack of depth you have behind first base. But again, we've already had this conversation. I just need to keep reminding you guys just how good Tristan Casas can be. Overall, again, it was a fun weekend for the Red Sox. It just came 3 weeks too late, which is unfortunate. But again, you had a whole lot to talk about this weekend. So let me know in the comment section down below, what'd you think of all of it? What did you think of the series? What did you think of the news? What do you think this does for the 2025 Red Sox? And is there anyone in terms of rookies or in terms of possible promotions you're looking for as the Red Sox finish up basically their last week of the 2024 season? Let me know all your thoughts on everything in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Sox almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton. It's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen instead of watch these episodes, all you got to do is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.